Hey everybody, welcome to today's show. Welcome to Advocate Information Highway. I'm your host, Anthony Lorito-Duke, and we have a very important topic for today's show in which it is the United States House of Representatives just passed their version of Trump's quote unquote big beautiful bill. And in their version, it's gonna if this bill was to become law, because it's not law right now, even though it passed the United States House of Representatives, it still has to go to the United States Senate and then to Trump's desk and stuff. But um, the United States Senate could basically dissect the bill and say, like, okay, we have bipartisan support on like these few sections of the bill, and those few sections will pass right through. But these other parts we've got a problem with, and it needs to go back to the drawing board, you know. And then once the Senate does their version of those parts that they don't agree with, then those parts go back to the United States House of Representatives for their review and stuff. So it could take a while. But anyways, um, I just want to get to the part to where this particular bill, it cuts off a lot of people from health coverage and SNAP benefits. So it does cut them off. And people, it's really important for people to understand because it's unfortunately a lot of people don't get this part. Because a lot of like the Trump supporters, the MAGA supporters, they keep saying, well, whatever happens, that's only going to affect the Democratic states. No, it doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. It affects every city and every state throughout the entire United States. Doesn't matter Democratic or Republican because it affects all of them. Okay? So that's a really important thing to understand. That's number one. Number two, with the healthcare coverage part, a lot of people are going to be kicked off of health coverage. Okay? And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, um, that's like telling grandma and grandpa, hey, grandma and grandpa, you're just going to end up dying and the government doesn't care. You're going to lose your health care coverage. You know, and when people lose their health coverage, it affects hospitals and doctors' offices altogether because if a person does not have healthcare coverage, if they don't have healthcare coverage, and if something severe happens to them and they need to go to a hospital or to a doctor or whatever, and they don't have healthcare coverage, the hospital and doctor's offices have to be left unpaid, and it's the taxpayers that are going to end up flipping the bill, and that's going to also raise healthcare coverage costs for hospitals and doctors' offices. Because if they lose that money and whatever, that's gonna they're gonna have to increase their prices to try to make up for that difference. And so many people are gonna lose their SNAP benefits, and people won't be able to eat, and they won't be able to feed their children. So they gotta think about this. There may be, like I said, there may be parts of that bill that'll get bipartisan support and that can be pushed through. But the parts for like healthcare coverage and SNAP benefits, you can't touch them. You can't touch them really. Seriously. You're gonna hurt so many people, and that's gonna have to go back to the drawing board and The Senate's gonna do their version, and then their version is gonna have to go back to the United States House of Representatives for them to approve and stuff. And this could take a while to go through and whatever. But you know, you can't touch those two things. You really can't. And for those that believe that, okay, yeah, we could just do this and it won't affect us from being reelected and stuff like that. And wrong, wrong. Right now we have throughout the United States and stuff, there's a lot of city and state elections going on right now, like with primaries and stuff. And then this coming November, there'll be general elections throughout many parts of the United States. And make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen, come next year in 2026, it's midterm elections. Okay? And so if they think that whatever they do now won't affect them next year, they got another thing coming to them. They got another thing coming to them. Seriously, honestly. And they got to really think about it. They got to really, really think about it. So, um, it can hurt so many people in so many ways, and it'll hurt the economy too. Because, like I said, the prices for hospitals and doctors' offices can go skyrocketing up. So they need to think before they do, you know? And just to think about how many people, elderly people, people with disabilities, and so on and so forth, that this bill could really, really hurt, including little children, including little children. So again, I hope that the senators in the United States Senate really think uh, about those two parts, really. You can get bipartisan support on all the other parts, but these two parts are so important, they really can't be touched. They really can't. And so, with that, I want to remind all my fans out there about my website, Advocate Information Highway. The link to there is AIHNY.com. Again, that's AIHNY.com. You guys can check out all the pages on there. And if you go to the store page of my website, if you go to the store page of my website, you'll see two links on there. Which one of those links is to my internet store on Zazzle.com. If you click on that link and go to my internet store on Zazzle.com, you'll see all the products that I design and that are for sale on my internet store on Zazzle.com. And so with that, take care, everybody. Bye.